I realized that I can offer something really unique because of the fact that I'm not there yet.
Welcome to Reps and Redemption, a podcast for moms who want to prioritize their health and build strength from the inside out. Hey there, mama. I know you long to find the joy in all the things homemaking and motherhood while showing your kids that you don't have to give up on yourself, your goals, or your desired quiet time with Jesus just to be a good mom. I'm your host, Ashley Harvey, former college athlete, wife, homeschooling, faith-filled homemaker, mom of 4, nutrition and strength training coach. If you're ready to take control of your health, lose fat, build muscle, and faith, you're in the right place. Grab that iced coffee and let's dive in. Hey there. Welcome back to Reps and Redemption. I have a special guest here today. Her name is Sally Marrier. Hey, Sally, how are
Hey,
you?
good. How are you?
I am good. I'm so excited. We were chatting for a few before our interview here, and she's going to share with us her journey to becoming a personal trainer and also how God has used health in her life to kind of redeem some things in her own personal health journey. So, Sally, introduce yourself and you can just go ahead and jump into your story
Sure.
because I know it's pretty meaty and I loved hearing it. I actually stopped her when we were talking pre-interview and I was like, I want all of it. Just give me all of it. So here we go.
All
You're on.
right. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here today, and I'm really excited to share my story. I am a mom of 2 girls, and I am a Christian, a strong Christian, and I am by day a healthcare consultant. I help people with their data and all those things during the day. But my side gig is, as Ashley mentioned, is being a personal trainer, and that's probably one of my biggest passions is fitness and helping others. So I'll just kind of dive into kind of a little bit of my background, but I was always kind of what you would call the chubby kid. I've been overweight probably most of my life. I had maybe flashes of athleticism in high school when I was in some sports and that kind of thing. I've always enjoyed playing tennis, but my weight has been at best a yo-yo sort of journey. But um, in 2016, 2017, I was kind of at what I would call my all-time high weight and low mental health. I was sort of facing this mountain again of losing weight, and I just couldn't face it. I was just so tired of it. I was sick all the time. I was at the doctor's office, and she, looked me in the face and she said, you're not fooling anybody. You're not making good choices, and your health is being affected, and your markers are not good. And I want to put you on statins. And I just looked at her and I was like, me and drugs just are not a good match. I just don't like taking them. I don't really, want to. And
Mm.
she just looked me in the eye and she said, I said, I want 6 months. Give me 6 months. And she goes, you can do whatever you want. It's your life. And I was like, that phrase just hit me. It was like, it's your life. It's your
Mm.
life. And, knowing that my dad had died young at 53 and I was 47, and I was like, do I really only have 6 more years? Am I on that
Wow.
same trajectory? Because I was really on that same trajectory that, of health habits and not exercising and not really appreciating, the body that I'd been given, so I didn't really do anything though. Went home, got sick with pneumonia, spent a lot of time trying to get over that, more time than I should have needed to. But I joined a gym in March of 2018. A good friend of mine, Bert Anderson, said, come join our gym. And my husband and I are like, fine, whatever. You caught us in a weak moment. Let's do this. And, really the rest is sort of history for me because I showed up, I worked hard. I kind of had this sense that like this was it. Like if I can't make this work, then I don't know what else to do. I
Right.
felt it was kind of my last ditch effort. And I showed up, I worked hard. In a year, I lost 50 pounds. I dropped 300 points off my triglycerides, which were off the charts. I lost 2 feet of inches, 30 inches total, 13 of it off my waist. I did a lot of really cool things. I did an obstacle course. I did Tough Mudder. I was very active in all of the things that the gym was doing, with their challenges and with new friends that I had, new athletic friends. And I was having a good time. And then COVID hit.
Mm.
And, after a couple of months of not having the gym, we all decided we were going to start mountain biking, which I had done in my youth. And I was like, this is cool. We're going to go back at it. So, I started doing that pretty heavy in April of 2020. In July, we went up to Crosby, Minnesota, which is a mountain biking town, Cuyuna. And I had a really bad accident. I lost consciousness. I broke a few ribs. I had some road rash, etc. But the worst of it was a C5, C6 brachial plexus hyperextension. And basically, what that means is I couldn't use my arm or shoulder at all. I couldn't move my arm. I could move my fingers. So they knew I hadn't severed it. They said if I had had another millimeter of extension, I likely would have been a quadriplegic.
Wow.
So I was very grateful, and just the amount of
Gosh.
gratitude that washed over me when I heard that was pretty significant. And I remember just, praising God in the storm, if you will, just saying, this is thank you. If I have to deal with this, that's fine. This is great.
Mm.
But the doctors told me it's a multi-year recovery, and you're never gonna recover fully. So I basically listened to them. I went down to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and they told me pretty much the same thing. And, they just said, you're too old. You're never going to regenerate those nerves. It takes a long time for nerves to regenerate, and it's just, not going to happen. But I, well, and I kind of want to pause here too and just say that I cried for quite a bit of that post-accident time. It was just a dark time, and it was just frustration and the inability to get any sort of sleep. It was kind of like having a newborn, where you just don't get a break. You just
Yeah.
don't get a break from the pain. And so I just, spent a lot of time sort of feeling sorry for myself. And I just, it took me a while to figure out that God was really using this accident to not only draw me closer to him and to my family, but to also kind of prepare me for the journey that I had in front of me, and that I needed to fight, that
Yeah.
I needed to kind of, close ranks, gather my, my people, and draw close to him and start, figuring out what I needed to do to fight. And so I woke up one day, and I don't know, I just was like, I'm not accepting it. I'm
Mm.
just not, I don't believe them. I don't care what they say. I just know, you know, we went through 4 years of infertility, and we were told after a pretty extensive surgery on me that I would never have children. And I have two biological children. So I know my God is bigger.
God is
He's
good,
got a plan,
and he's a
right?
lot bigger than doctors,
Right.
right?
So yeah, I mean, I guess I know that, God has a plan, and I'm going to just, do what I can to not screw it up too bad all the time. And, but anyway, I could also had some feedback that I could see minimal improvement. I
Mm.
started to be able to move my arm. It was really slow. But it was enough that I knew I wasn't imagining it. And I just knew I was going to have to work my butt off and see what happened. And I certainly didn't have anything to lose. I mean, I went to
Right.
physical therapy and learned what they knew, and then went to the gym once they were open again, and, just tried to find that bleeding edge of good pain and bad pain. And I still remember the very first time I was able to raise my arm over my head without assistance. And I was pretty emotional and pretty happy. And, that drove me to continue to seeing that success. But yeah, so 14 months later, I was able to do a personal best on a one arm snatch, which is basically lifting a dumbbell from the ground over the head. And, before I was able to do 50 pounds. And just a couple weeks ago, in fact, I put it on my Instagram, I lifted a 60-pound weight. So
That's
I,
incredible.
yeah, I learned, I knew that, my God's always right.
Yep.
If he puts it in my head that this is what I need to do, and I know, and I trust that it's from him, that I know that, God was using this in a big way. But I wasn't really quite understanding what that was yet. I just knew that, hey, I can use my arm again. This is great. But what he really used it for, in my opinion and, through much prayer and sort of asking for that revelation is that I really feel like he used it to change my trajectory in a different way.
Mm.
Um, if I hadn't been in that accident, I'm not sure where I would be. I've done a lot of like big bouts of fitness and then fading away, big bouts
Right.
of fitness and then fading away. And I've done a lot of that yo-yoing, as I mentioned. And so I really feel like this was, in this case with the accident, you know, I just don't know if I would have kept going, if I hadn't had the accident with my fitness journey. And I feel like this time I was going to make it permanent, and how did I make it permanent? Well, I decided to become a personal trainer. I'd heard about the internship program at our gym. I'd seen a lot of interns come in and over the years that I'd been going there, and I never saw myself as a great fit for, obvious reasons in my mind anyway. I had a full-time job. I thought it was for young people who were going to make their career in the fitness industry. And, here I am 50 plus years old and, I have a family and full-time worker. And I don't know. I just didn't think I was personal trainer, quote unquote material. And also I wasn't where I wanted to be in my fitness journey. So how could
Right.
I possibly, go on to help, I didn't want to be embarrassed or have like, why would somebody hire an overweight trainer? Like, that's ridiculous. I just didn't really feel like I belonged there. But
Mm.
again, man, the Lord nudged me in such a huge way in that. And he can be really loud if you're listening sometimes. And so I just felt like kicking and screaming. I filled out that application. I mean, I was just like, are you for real? Am I really doing? And I asked Luke and Nicole on the Snap Fitness that I go to, and they have such a great community there, and I owe so much to them. But I talked to Nicole and like, do you really feel like I'm good for this
Mhm.
role? And she just looked at me and she's like, I wouldn't have even suggested it if I didn't think you were going to be good for it, and so that gave me a little bit of courage too. And I think a lot of times in our lives when we have big decisions that we make, getting married, having kids, whatever those big decisions are, you have no freaking clue what you're getting yourself into,
Right.
right?
Before
And I'm
you
and
walk
thank
through
and
it.
thank the Lord, right? Because
Yes.
otherwise we wouldn't even do half the things we do.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I would have chickened out completely if I had any idea. The NASM test was extraordinarily difficult.
Wow.
I have a master's degree and I will put that to the test against the NASM any day of the week. It's a tough test. Uh,
Wow.
but I also had been out of academics for 20 plus years, so there was that too. But anyway, I completed the internship, passed my test, and started working for Luke and Nicole at Snap Fitness in Rogers, Minnesota as a results coach, which by the way, I just love that title because it's not personal trainer, it's results coach.
Results. I
So
love
it's not
that.
it's not just about your exercise and your nutrition. It's,
You
the
know,
whole person. And I just love that's how they approach it. But something super amazing happened. I started getting clients almost immediately. And I
wow.
mean, people trust me. They talk to me about their goals and their hopes and their fears. And I don't know. I love it so much. It's just such a joy. And I just love working. It's called Fit Club, which is a part of Snap Fitness. And that's who I work with. So if they're personal training or they go to our group fitness classes, then we call them Fit Club clients. And I just think that it's amazing. And I realize that I can offer something really unique because of the fact that I'm not there yet. I understand their frustrations because I share them. They're mine
Right.
too, and in a very real way. And so I just, I cheer for them. I push them. I set new goals with them, and I make progress with them. And I'm truly honored, really. Every time I meet with a client, I am doing part of what I really feel like God has called me to do. And it's such a gift. That's such a gift. And I'm just grateful and humbled that it came at a time in my life when my kids don't need me as much anymore. And
Mm.
they need me, they still need me, I hope, a little bit.
Right.
But I am strong. I'm not skinny. But I love my clients fiercely. And I think one of the things that I just want to, kind of wrap it up with is to say that, our health is the biggest gift that we give to ourselves and to
Wow.
our families and to our children. And it's the biggest legacy you leave for them to take care of themselves. And if I could go a little bit back further in time, it's the thing that I probably regret more that I didn't impart that onto them in a timely manner. I'm working on it now and they're listening and they see me. Your kids see you, whatever you do, they are watching. If they're 6 months or 66 years, they're watching you.
Mm.
Um, and so I guess my goal is just to make people understand that the gym is for everyone. It's you belong in there as much as anyone. It's not just for fit people or young people or healthy people. And I enjoy helping people feel comfortable there. It's what I want to do. And Fit Club I'm very biased about my gym, but that's the community that they've built. And that is their mission because their mission statement is we believe in people until they believe in themselves.
Wow.
And
Mm.
I feel so strongly about that. And they're also both very strong Christians. And I think, that's a big part of why we've stayed. A little over 5 years now we've been there. And I am very grateful. I tell Luke regularly that he saved my life.
Wow.
And he'll deflect it upwards.
Right.
But I really feel strongly that we need to be better about making our health and wellness a priority. So just do it. Just get whatever you need to get support system wise. And I do coach virtually too, but find a community that's near you, and you don't have to come see me for it by any means, but Snap Fitness and Rogers and Elk River are definitely my passion. So
I
come.
absolutely love that you shared where you're at. And I think too, gosh, there's so much in your story and I wish we could like stop at each piece, but I just
Yeah.
wanted all of it to get out. And I wanted people, especially the ladies that listen to this show, to understand that it isn't ever too late to start. And
Yep.
then also
Absolutely.
how I do believe that we're starving for relatability, right?
Yes.
Especially
Connection.
women.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and if God calls you to it,
You better
Sally is gonna
you
see
better
you
do
through
it.
it,
Yeah.
and you better do it. And I that is just such a passion here on Reps and Redemption because we're talking about one rep at a time. So whether
Yeah.
that's,
Yes.
focusing on your nutrition or hitting the gym one time a week, even if it's just once to get
Yep.
going,
Yep.
or, 1 mile walk a day, however you can start, because, I heard this recently. It can be and probably is to the joy of the enemy that we don't prioritize our health.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
your story, I see how, you started with, at 2006, in 2016, you were the heaviest you've ever been.
Yep.
And your
Yep.
doctor was like letting you know, like things really need to change. You need to do something. It's your life. And then it finally clicked like, wait a second, like nobody else is responsible for
Right.
any of this except me.
Yeah.
And it's like such a hard reality because especially as moms who are, we're tired a lot and we have a lot on
Hmm.
our plate, and we can be like, well, the kids needed me, the house is a mess, and we can have all these, excuses to not focus on our
Well,
God-given
and they're
health.
really good. They're really good excuses. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
and they are. They're
I mean,
valid.
they're worthy
We're the
pursuits,
tasks. Yeah.
but so
It,
are you.
exactly. And you said
Yeah.
before we started, that this was for you, it was a good heart.
Yeah. Good hard.
I wrote that down because I was like,
Yep.
share that.
Yep.
And
And you know what? It still is. There's times when I want to, we have a saying that we put on one of our t-shirts for one of our challenges that says, the heaviest weight at the gym is the front door.
mm,
Right. So
yeah,
there are times when just getting to that front door is the win, right? Or getting your shoes on to go for a walk is the win. And then there's days where you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm really excited about my walk, or I'm really excited about my workout. But there's always going to be days when you don't feel like doing it. And just the phrase up in my gym today is you're always one workout away from a good mood.
Oh, so perfect.
Right.
And I do believe that the habit creates the discipline, and the
Yes.
habit and the discipline outweigh motivation 100%.
Yeah, don't wait for
Because
motivation because that's completely unreliable and not a good way to even approach anything
exactly.
in
I
life.
think the last time I felt motivated was in the second trimester when I got a burst of energy. And that was
Yeah, yeah.
but
I was looking for a Bible verse, but there is actually a Bible verse that talks about um character, producing character. Oh, if I find it, you might need to edit this part out, but
no,
I'll see
I
if I can.
know which one you're talking about. It's it was about,
It's Romans.
yeah, it's in
Oh, here
Romans,
it
and
is.
it's about, you go ahead and read it.
I found it. It's Romans 5 verse 3. Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. So that's a big thing when sometimes when I'm struggling that and during my accident, I knew that um, you know, not only was God going to use that because he promises that, but also I knew that this was going to form my character and also give me hope. And that's probably the biggest theme of my fitness journey is hope, because if you do not feel hope, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And the hope might not be weight loss. The hope might not be muscle gain. The hope might be mental health or being a better mom or having a better night's sleep when you are able to get some sleep. There's all kinds of reasons and lots of literature about why exercise and your physical health are so important and why good nutrition is so important. It's not just about you know, I don't work out to be skinny. I don't work out to fit into a pair of jeans. I'm 52 years old. I work out to make sure that I can be around and be mobile. I
Mm.
want to be here for my grandkids and my great grandkids even. And I want to be healthy as long as I can. And it starts when you're young. Don't wait till you're in your 50s to do it because it's so much harder. Do it in your 20s or your 30s, or do it in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I have new clients right now that are in their 70s, and the mom, the wife says, I want to walk into the house and have my daughter go, whoa, look at how strong you look. That's her
I
goal.
love that. That is her go. And you are a results coach. So you need
I
to come
can't wait.
back
I
and
can't
let
wait
me
to help.
know.
Yes, yes, I will for sure.
Well, and I love again how you said, and sharing this with the audiences, it is your life, it is our life.
Yeah,
And I don't believe that we should compare our health to a number on the scale. I do
absolutely.
believe it should come from, are we pushing ourselves? Are we working? Are we sweating?
Yes,
Do we feel strong? Are we progressively overloading, our
yes,
muscles? And
exactly, exactly.
inevitably, like you said, in 1 year you lost 50 pounds. Inevitably results will come in some way, shape, or form. And maybe first it is mental clarity. And maybe
Right,
first it is, a good mood
right,
before any of
right.
the weight drops. But if we are focusing on our health as a whole, like our soul, our mind, body, soul, our
Yeah,
faith, we're bound to, I believe, want to take care of our health because
yeah,
it's just like a natural response in, our bodies as temples. Would you
yep.
agree?
Yeah, agree. And it's that sort of almost the leap of faith, knowing that, the things that we do will be rewarded,
Yeah.
however that is. So
Well, we are getting close to having to wrap up. So I am going to ask Sally to just, speak out your like social handles and
sure.
wherever
Yep.
you're at, and then I'll throw them in the show notes. So if anyone wants to catch up with her where she's at, go ahead and I'll make sure I put this in the show notes. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Sally.
I was gonna say I'm not sure I can like rattle off the website, but we are Snap Fitness in Rogers, Minnesota. My Instagram is just salgal71. Again, that'll be in the the show notes. You can see my 60-pound snatch in there if you want, because I think
Nice.
but otherwise my email, which you can use anytime, is
Perfect.
sally.fitclub@gmail.com. So we'll put that in the show notes so that you have it. But yeah, I reach out to me for whatever. I mean, if obviously if you don't live near Rogers or Elk River, Minnesota, probably can't train you in person, but I do have people that come. I work at a Veterans Foundation as well, and they do come quite a ways to,
Nice.
not just with me, but with the other trainers that work there too. So if you're a veteran, that Magnus Veterans Foundation, you can find me there too. I'll be there. I'm there on Thursday nights, but otherwise, we do virtual coaching through Snap Fitness too.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I've seen people at my gym with their computer out and their virtual coach
Yep.
on there. So
Yep.
I always thought that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
there
And
is a
we have an app.
way.
I mean,
Yeah,
everybody has an app, but so,
right.
we have an app,
There,
but we load all the workouts in there so you can watch the videos while you do it. And it's pretty slick. So yeah,
awesome. Well,
but
thank you
yeah,
so much for sharing, Sally. And
you're welcome.
remember what Sally said a few minutes ago, because I don't want my audience, I don't want you ladies to forget, but our health is a legacy.
Yes. Thanks for having me, Ashley. Appreciate it.
If this episode inspired you, will you share with a friend? I would be so grateful if you would leave a podcast review on your listening app of choice. Remember, the content provided in this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please seek the advice of your qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical or health condition. Remember, be bold, mama, and live well. Until next time.